Hi, everybody. So today I wanted to talk about my trips to Mount Kailash in Tibet. And I'll give a little bit of background on Mount Kailash because I don't know if all of you know what that is. It's a mountain in Tibet. It's one of the most sacred spots on earth, along with its sister lake, Manasrovar. It's a holy pilgrimage site for people of the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and Bon faiths. They've taken the ancient path around the base of the mountain for at least 1,000 years now, and that's the path that I got to walk. It's very cool. So it brings spiritual merit by walking that path. It's a very powerful experience, and I absolutely love Mount Kailash, and I plan on going back again at least one more time, but maybe more. So it's a high altitude hike, a very high altitude hike. It's 32 miles or 52 kilometers long. Most foreigners do it in 3 days. Tibetans often do it in one. And then there's also the people who do it by taking full body prostrations all the way around the mountain. And that usually takes them 10 to 15 days. The only people I've seen doing that are Tibetan people. And they have to wear knee pads and elbow pads to prevent themselves from scraping their knees and elbows from doing the full body prostrations all the way around the mountain. It's really amazing. I mean, it's beautiful to see that kind of faith and commitment. But I myself prefer walking. So the highest point on the trek is 18,372 feet or 5,600 meters, which is called Domala Pass, and that's why it's called an extremely high altitude trek, because anything over 18,000 feet or 5,500 meters qualifies as extremely high altitude. The lowest point is the starting point at Darchen, which is 15,000 feet or 4,600 meters. So yes, there is high altitude sickness involved, and you have to acclimate yourself to the altitude. Your body will not instantly adjust. No one's does. As far as my group, we took long bus rides from Nepal to Tibet to help us acclimate ourselves. So it was over a period of days that we gradually rose to the altitude of Mount Kailash. And we also took homeopathic medicine to help us with our bodies adjusting to the high altitude. So Tibetans, Buddhists, and Hindus, Tibetan Buddhists and Hindus, they make the circuit in a clockwise direction, while people of the Bon faith and Jains, they go counterclockwise. So usually you hire a Sherpa and possibly a pony to help guide you on which way to go, because you don't want to get confused and go the opposite direction. After, if you're trying to go one direction, you don't want to get confused and start going back the other way, because then you'll never complete the trek. But anyways, both times I went to Kailash, I went with Mohanji's group, and we did the circumambulation in a clockwise direction. I went both last year and this year. And that's because, like I said, I love Mount Kailash. It's the abode of Shiva. And it's extremely powerful, this place. The frequency, the vibration, it's just like nowhere on this earth that I've been. And I've been to some power centers, but Kailash has its own special feeling, in my opinion. And that's why I plan on going back. So I'll just tell a little bit about why the 4 different religions believe that it's a power center. So for Hindus, they believe it's the abode of Shiva, and among other things. But that's just a really brief explanation. And for Jains, Mount Kailash is where their first spiritual savior attained enlightenment. For the Bon faith, they believe that the Kailash region is the spiritual center of the world. And for Tibetan Buddhists, Mount Kailash is known as Mount Meru, and it's the home of Demchok, a tantric deity who represents supreme bliss. Padmasambhava is a powerful Indian Buddhist master who is considered to be responsible for the transmission of Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. There are several sacred sites devoted to him around Mount Kailash. And I actually bought a little Padmasambhava. Oh my gosh, you guys, he is so cute. I can't believe I managed to find one small enough to carry with me to Mount Kailash, but I did, and I was told I was very blessed to have found one so small because they normally don't make them like this. So I took him with me on the entire trek, and I dipped him in Lake Manasrovar before I went to Kailash, because we stopped at the lake first. And dipping things in Lake Manasrovar, it's like pouring holy water over them, because the lake it represents purity. And according to Tibetan legends, Queen Maya actually bathed in that lake before she gave birth to the Buddha. So when I went to Lake Manasrovar last year, I actually got to dip myself in the lake, and that was amazing. I mean, I felt like, and then we did a homa, a Hindu fire ritual on the shore after we did our dips in the lake, and I felt like I had been purified 100 times over. And then after that, we went to Mount Kailash. And the circumambulation around the mountain is also purificatory. So by the time I finished, I felt so light. I felt like I had shed lifetimes of unwanted karma. And the Kailash trek itself, it can be done on foot or with a pony. At least on the 1st and 3rd days, you can use a pony. Now, the 2nd day, you can use a pony for part of the day, because the 2nd day is when you go up to Domala Pass, the highest point, and it's very rocky and steep at times, and a pony can't go through parts of it, so you have to walk. And while on Mount Kailash, my group spent our nights in places that are like hotels, but not exactly what we in the United States consider hotels to be. So there were several people to a room on each night, but we each had our own bed, which was very nice. And there were not regular bathrooms. There were no showers. To use the toilet, you had to go outside, and it was a concrete hole in the ground. So, and there are no sinks, so we had to bring our own hand sanitizer and wet wipes. Both times I went, our group was led by a team of wonderful Sherpas who cooked for us. They went out of their way to accommodate our every need. They were just absolutely amazing. Those people are like saints. They're so humble and just very precious souls. And so although the conditions are somewhat harsh by typical Western standards, in my opinion, the spiritual benefits, they far outweigh the physical inconveniences. So that's why I went back a second time, and I plan on going again. Um, and I have to say, I experienced an extremely powerful sense of stability and peace while at Mount Kailash. And the best part about it is that it has stayed with me. And it's become a part of me, and it's really transformed me forever. So, based on what I experienced, I believe that going to Mount Kailash is something that everyone should do if given the opportunity, because it is incredible. So, I hope that hearing me speak about it has inspired you to consider going, because it's well worth it. And I thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please feel free to give it a little thumbs up and comment on it and share it. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you.